Welcome back, Live Greater video blog. Have you ever wondered, does the devil really exist? Are you one of those people that thinks the devil doesn't exist? You know what? That's exactly what he wants you to think. He wants you to think he doesn't exist. But I want to assure you, he does. And he is doing everything in his power that God has allowed him to have to take you down. To take you down to a place that you do not want to go. That is in the pits of hell. So how do we know the devil's real? Well, we read about him, of course, in the book of Genesis, but I want to point to one of Peter's letters. And that's actually out of 1 Peter chapter 5. And in verse 6, it says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that in due time he may exalt you." In verse 7, "Cast all your anxieties on him, for he cares about you." So every one of our anxieties, all of the stress that we're having, Peter tells us, give it all to God. Don't rely on ourselves. Give it all to God. And then in verse 8, here it is, the devil. He says, "Be sober, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour." In verse 9, Peter says, "Resist him firm in your faith, knowing that the same experience of suffering is required of your brotherhood throughout the world. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, establish, and strengthen you." So Peter tells us, put everything on God, but recognize that there is a devil. The devil is out there. He is trying to have his way with us. And Peter says, resist him, solid in your faith. Now, if you think, you know what, the devil really doesn't tempt me, I don't have to be real concerned about him. Well, guess what? The devil already has you. He's got you in his grasp. It's for those who struggle, who really say, you know what, I do feel the devil there. I do feel like I'm being tempted. That's where we need to give all of our anxieties to God. You see, sin persists in a few different ways. The first is pride. I'll admit, that's where I struggle the most. My arrogance, my ego is too big. I need to remain more humble. And that's one. So the devil's going to try to attack us, some of us, in our pride, because he's the father of lies, the father of pride. And then vanity. Vanity is where you're concerned about your image, what you look like. We should always look good. We should always try to look our best. But if the intention is, I'm trying to impress others, I want others to see me as beautiful or handsome, whatever it is, that's a bad intention. And then the last one is sensuality. You know, for those of us who might struggle with overeating, with impurity and this sort of thing. So the devil knows how to attack us. And we must rely totally on God. If we rely on God's grace and receive the sacraments, especially the sacrament of confession, we can do as Peter says, resist him, solid in our faith. Peace.